Hello and welcome to the Substance Global podcast. I'm Ollie Dyson and please welcome Briony and Erin Mullis. Together we make up the Substance Global podcast team. And for those of you that don't know what Substance Global is, we're a digital marketing agency all about entertainment. So we market films, TV shows and video games. And coming up today, we are ringing in 2022 with a happy new year and all the usual smattering of social news, plus some highlights for activations that we spotted that we thought was worth highlighting. So coming up, we've got TikTok's testing reposting to help with the sharing of content. Instagram's added Reels replies, and Sony has introduced Venom to Amazon's Alexa, and they've built up a really happy partnership. So we're going to dig into all of those. But to start with, we're going to throw in a real rapid-fire challenging question. Erin, Briony, what is probably a movie that stood out to you in the last year, like a movie of the year, off the top of your head? And we'll go in with you, Erin, first.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna chip in. I was like, I don't want to be rude, but I know this was sprung on, for the listeners' reference, it was sprung on Briony approximately 45 seconds ago.
She's having a meltdown currently.
The panic kicked in immediately, so I'm going to step up here. And also because I'm quite lucky because I only saw mine fairly recently. I caught it in December. But it's probably Come On with Joaquin Phoenix. Just really lovely, cute little, warm hug of a film, which is nice after, you know, the year that we've all had.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. Really cute, really good soundtrack. Just, yeah. And also I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know much about it when I went in, which is, I would say the vast majority of the time, the best way to go into any film. But I just kind of went on a whim and yeah.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I feel like that's something a little bit different. I've seen the trailer and I thought it looked really cute, and it's Woody Norman is the little
Oh my
boy
God,
in it.
yeah. Actually that reminds me, so he's like a really, really good like child performance, like, because you know, it's not always the case, but he definitely holds his own. And then he was so good, I kind of went down a Google wormhole, because I think he's about 11 or 12 in the film. And I was like, well, he can't be that old in real life. Like, he's too good. And then so not only is he only about 12 or 13, I read an interview he did with like A24. And apparently he's like the coolest kid ever as well. And he's like talking about all the music that him and Joaquin would talk about on set. I'm like, this guy is really showing me up. This 12-year-old is really showing me up in every way. In terms of his talent, his musical taste, like his level of cool. I'm like, I cannot compete with Woody. But yeah, he's really great.
And then Briony, have you managed to formulate an answer?
I have. I had another year of being quite bad at going to the cinema though. I was like dead set on catching up and going to see everything, and I actually went to the cinema like 3 times. I struggled, so I'm behind on a lot of stuff. But I am going to say The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Oh, nice.
Because yeah. I just remember watching that. That was the animation, the Sony one that came out on Netflix in the end, I think. And it was just it was kind of like a classic animation movie for the family. It was very sweet.
Briony, I feel like me and you were a similar age, so did you enjoy the Furby throwback as much as I did?
Yes, the giant Furby. Ollie sent the screenshot of the giant Furby approximately 50 times the month that came out on WhatsApp.
They've really clawed their way back to the cultural zeitgeist between that and Uncut Gems. I'm like, they're hustling hard, the Furbies.
They are. Oh, yeah, of course. The bedazzled Furby.
They're pretty sinister looking, so you can tell they're scheming.
Yeah. Yeah, that giant Furby was terrifying. It was just like really sweet and funny, and like it had a lot of heart, like the emotional sort of side to it I thought was very nice. Like the family relationship was very sweet.
Great choice. And then my pick would be, off the top of my head, I'm going to say Dune. I feel like that was a great film, and it was just everything about it just fell into place so well. I feel like it was much hyped, and then it paid off in the end. So, and now we're getting the sequel that we all need. So, but yeah, wonderful. Well, great choices though. That's 3 strong recommendations for things that if you've thinking, I need to catch up on some 2021 films, you could do much worse than Come On, Mitchells versus the Machines and Dune, I feel, and that's a nice cross across various genres and audiences. I think it'll hit you all the spots.
So let's start with a look at the latest social news. The first story we have is for TikTok. They are testing a new repost option to boost the distribution of clips. Now, I actually, very randomly, last night was on TikTok for several hours before I went to bed, of course. And I went to either send a video to somebody, or I went to maybe I went to hold it down to say I wasn't interested. One of the two. And I saw the little repost button and I was like, what is that? I've never seen this before. So this is very relevant. It's testing this option. Exciting that I've got it. And basically it enables you to reshare TikTok clips to your followers, with the reposted clip then displayed in their connections feeds. So this seems odd, but it sort of just boosts the clip further and would reach further. I mean, you sort of see something like this happening when somebody, duets or stitches with a video and it's just them laughing. And you're basically still watching the first video and you're just getting more on that one. So it's sort of like this. It's odd that they want to do it, and it is interesting to see if people will use it. I suppose the benefit is that it will probably end up with you getting more engagement on your account. I'm not entirely sure how the analytics and stuff will work on it, but
I think it feels to me a bit like, when on Spare Room you post an ad and then you can refresh the ad or bump the ad every so often and
yes.
It bumps it back up. It feels a bit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's accurate, but
is it like the social equivalent of just being just circling back, just nudging on the below?
Did you see this?
Yeah, did you see this?
Yeah, it's an odd one.
Hypothetically, so do you know if you were to share something, is that then visible on your profile? Because one thing I thought it could be quite good for is, I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but I'm very hot and cold with TikTok. I have to delete it for a while because I find it so addictive, but I'm very much back on the TikTok train at the moment. And then because I watch so many and I like so many, every now and again I want to send one to someone and then I can't find it because I've liked too many TikToks, taking ages to find. But so I'm guessing if you save the repost function for the ones you love the most, then for people like me who always forgets to send them as soon as I see them, it's always 3 months down the line and I have to scroll for 15 minutes. I'll find them easier to find because I can just look at my reposts.
It doesn't say yet whether it will be on your profile. It says it will share with your For You page and your following, but it doesn't say whether it will live on your profile. I need to test it later and find out, but
I'm sure there are actually much more effective ways built into the app that I could bookmark my favourite TikToks, but I just haven't explored them properly yet.
I'm not sure there is. I feel like there is literally likes and then...
Yeah, because I do use the likes and favourites as separate. I do use them it's an organisational thing. So if somebody is here's a technique on how to dry your hair properly or some random rubbish like that, or if it's a tutorial... Or if it's go to this place.
A recipe.
Yeah, something that's useful. Or if it's how to make this sort of TikTok style or transition, I save those as favourites and bookmark them. And then if it's just content that I like, and I'm I might want to share this to somebody. But to be honest, it's mostly just stuff where I'm this is hilarious and I want to watch it again later.
Briony, you're so wise. It never occurred to me because you're right. That's the sort of the majority of them, it's because I'm giggling like an idiot, which is why I've liked them. But there are a few that I've liked with the intention of revisiting them because they're functional in some way.
Yeah, that's how I do it. I just bookmark the useful ones, the funny ones.
I didn't even know there were options other than liking. So, wow, whole new world.
Educational day for us all.
It really is. And then from TikToks to Reels. So Instagram has now added Reels replies. So basically it's another way to bring reels into the conversation on Instagram. So this is, rather than it sounding like, oh, you can comment on a reel, what it actually means is you can respond to comments on a post with a reel. So I'm trying to think about where I've seen this example before, but Briony might be able to think of it. I don't know. Is that something that they've done on TikTok before?
Yes,
where it's like you can reply with a video
this
to a
is
thing?
a Nick
It's very
from
much
TikTok thing.
a classic.
A classic. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. So you could do it on TikTok and now you can do it on Instagram as well. But I suppose it's another way of making it more personal when you reply to commenters.
It is a good feature. And it's like a lot of the videos that come up on my TikTok are like videos that are video answers to a comment. So it's definitely like a worthwhile feature and something that's like well used. So it makes sense that Instagram have introduced it, because if you're somebody that doesn't use TikTok and tries to keep all of your content on Reels, you've sort of been missing out from that. And it is quite good because, again, like if you do tutorials or if you do something where people can learn from your content, then a reply feature is great. I also get like very niche, but when like people leave like rude comments on women's TikToks and then they absolutely shut them down in a video reply. I get that a lot and I enjoy those. But yeah, it's a good feature for them to have brought in. It'll be interesting because like I know we don't necessarily watch Reels in the Reels tab the way that you would watch TikToks. So it'll be interesting to like pop into there and see if we're getting videos made from replies come up. On to Twitter we go. So this is our last little piece, I think. Twitter has added auto captions for all video uploads in tweets. So they have said in an announcement that all videos uploaded as part of a tweet will have auto captions enabled just as default, providing more ways for users to consume video content in the app. And this should work on like both different types of devices. And I think you can turn it on and off, but that's quite handy because if you have a video that's muted, then the captions will be activated. So whilst you're scrolling through, so you can see what it says, which works for me because, as we know, and as Ollie finds irritating, I like to watch a lot of videos muted.
There is no trailer out there that Briony hasn't watched in complete silence.
Yeah.
Just as the director intended, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Because I just listen to music all the time and I don't want to interrupt it, so it's got to be good stuff.
To be honest, yeah, I'm the same. This is a complete non-story because I can't remember the figure now, so I don't know why I'm even wasting time by saying it. But there is a statistic. Actually, you guys might know, and it's like X percent. It's so pointless. I'm sorry. And it's like X percentage of videos on social are watched without sound, and I swear it was over 50%. So I think it's how a lot of people do use it. Like myself included, because I'm the same. Like I like to have a podcast on or music when I'm traveling around.
It is quite high. I think we typically like encourage like clients when they're making assets to have on-screen text at least or captions where they can, just to make sure that if people aren't watching it with the sound on, that they're still getting the message. Because a lot of people don't listen to it. Because if you're watching it on your phone, like the chance that you are like out and about or you're traveling and you're again like listening to music or listening to a podcast, you probably don't want to interrupt it.
Yeah.
Well, that was this week in social.
And now let's have the return of an old classic, the Substance Social speed round. So I don't know if you've ever done this, Erin. Sorry, Briony definitely has. Briony's definitely
I have, and I'm afraid to say I was dreadful, but I will try my best. I will try my best. That's all I can tell you.
Well, here you go. You can learn from past mistakes and let's see how we go. But this one is essentially, for people who don't know, it's some other smaller stories that have happened this week. And then I'm going to challenge both Erin and Briony to summarise their reactions to the stories with one word. They can also use an emoji. I feel like an emoji is kind of more fun, but it depends how avant-garde you're feeling, how much you want to challenge yourself. There is a rule that you can only use each one once. This time there is only 3 stories coming up, so I feel like it's a low bar if you don't repeat a word or an emoji, but we'll see. And I'll alternate between the two of you who goes first. So because Briony's a veteran at this, we'll go with Briony first for the first story. So the first story is that TikTok has added live stream intros to better facilitate engagement. So there's basically now a new live intro option that lets you add a little short text description to welcome new viewers as they stumble across your broadcast. Because I feel like if you've been ever scrolled through TikTok, you will find yourself stumbling into some very strange TikTok live broadcasts. So at least I do on mine. Briony, can you give me your one word or emoji to summarise your reaction to that addition?
I'm going to do a cloud emoji because it's the best thing I could think of to represent the word dreamy, because it's really awkward when people do lives and then they wait for people to show up and it's like 5 minutes of them just like having a sip of their drink and being like, just going to wait for a few more people. Like, don't just start the TikTok. And, you know, I appreciate also the transparency of an intro card.
So you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, especially on TikTok.
Erin, what about you?
Okay, weirdly, because my initial thought is curious, right? So I was thinking maybe be like the emoji with the monocle, maybe. Mm-hmm. And then randomly the other emoji that sprung to mind was like the Pinocchio emoji with the really long nose. I don't know why, but I don't know if it's like, if you're curious, I'm nosy about this. But then is that pretty tangential? Yes.
No, I feel like you can sell it in. I feel like you've sold that in nosy.
Thanks.
That's
yeah, nosy. I'm like, tell me more. So a chin stroke could also work.
Oh, yeah. Well, Erin's got options. She's brought options.
It's 2022. It's a new me. I'm ready for the speed round now. Let's revisit this in 20 seconds' time with the next question. I'll probably just completely draw a blank. But
I love it.
Yeah, I know. I don't watch live TikToks probably for that reason, because I don't know what's going on, especially if you're like joining halfway through. So that sounds like, I don't know. Yes,
it does. I like to loiter sometimes. I'll loiter on the screen where you've not committed and jumped into the live itself, but you can see what's happening. Because I once accidentally joined. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I follow this woman whose entire niche is that she will wear like a head wrap and open a bungalow window, and she'll be like blah blah blah. And I'm not sorry about that. And she'll say it about anything. And that's her whole deal. But she does TikTok lives all the time. And I once accidentally joined one. And she went, "Oh, hello, Ollie." And I screamed and like swiped out of it because I was terrified. I wasn't ready for that level of interaction with her. So
what a literal shout out. Wowzers.
Yeah, I did. From the window lady. I will find her and send you her later because she is quite funny. But
what a niche.
It was a scary moment. It is a real niche TikTok theme, but yeah. So the next story is YouTube looks to highlight places mentioned in videos and adds collections to help sort subscriptions out. So basically, it's a new link format for any places mentioned within YouTube clips. And it also is now letting creators edit kind of the automatic chapters that come up now on YouTube. You can add text descriptions into that as well. So, Erin, you first. How do you feel?
The globe emoji? If it's like locations focused? Or is it more like... Let me... I don't know if I'm worried. I've done this before where I've reacted to something and then actually realised I completely misinterpreted.
No, I feel like globe is a good shout because it is about location links. So
Yeah. And that's cool. I do like it when like functions like this to make it easier to group things, because I'm never organised enough to do it like myself in a way. So when platforms do it for you, it makes
someone else can do it for
But
you.
yeah, the little globe, I'd say, for me.
I like that. Briony?
Oh, there's a little. I was just checking what exists. There's a little folder with little tabs. I don't really understand the places thing, or why.
I think it's just a special type of link. Yeah, I don't know if it links you out to Google Maps or something.
So, like, if somebody goes on like a vlog and then it's like my day in London, it'll be like, here's a link to the Breakfast Club.
Maybe,
something.
yeah.
How odd. Scary. But the organised, like collection sounds like a good idea. I like that.
Lovely. I like it. A globe and a folder. And then the final story is TikTok is testing a new desktop live streaming app with a focus on gaming streamers. So basically people who would typically perhaps stream on Twitch will now be able to broadcast direct from the PCs to TikTok live, so they can share the gaming stream straight onto TikTok, straight from desktop. Briony, how do you feel?
The little 8-bit purple alien emoji.
Yeah.
Just because it's gaming, for no other reason. That's all we're getting.
Fine. And Erin?
I might go for like the little... Are there like two little arrows that... Like one's going clockwise and one's going anti-clockwise and they kind of meet each other? Almost like a little symbol you'd get on like a reverse turn on Uno or something.
Yeah.
And like, is it to like make like the cycle easier? I think it's like something to do with basically the recycling logo, but not recycling.
Yeah.
Just more like it feeds into the... Yeah, I have to confess I'm not overly familiar with gaming, you know, like Twitch live streams and that kind of thing. But for people who are, then it's likely a very helpful development for them, I would imagine. Yeah. Question mark. I'm going up at the end like Ron Burgundy because I'm not massively sure. It's like, it is a good development.
I think you're right. I think it is. It's easier for them to do that. So I would agree. I'd be inclined to say you're correct. If I've got to pick a winner from that, and I do hate picking a winner. No, I don't. I enjoy it. I would pick Erin. Only because I feel like, Erin, you came in, you approached these things from a kind of out of the box. You went for a Pinocchio emoji halfway through. Why not? You sold it in there.
It was the Pinocchio emoji that did it.
It was rogue and unjustified, but
strong.
I made a case, you know? Thanks, Ollie.
You made a case for it. You sold it into me and I accepted it. I bought it wholesale. But Briony, you did a wonderful job, of course.
Sure, thank you.
But that was the end of This Week in Social. That was the speed round over. Thank you both.
And now on to some of our top activations of the week. So these are all digital activities from entertainment brands that we've seen and think are worthy of a spotlight on the podcast. So up first, we have Activision and Call of Duty in the UK and a nice little team of influencers. So to celebrate the launch of the new Pacific map in Call of Duty Warzone, Activision teamed up with Mason Mount, Chunks, Els the Witch, and the one and only Rylan Clark to open a 1980s style travel agency. So they shared this little video saying, fancy a trip to Caldera, we're taking bookings. Speak to our travel agent operators. And they made this great little video, which is very retro style travel agency ad. And all of the agents are obviously these nice influencers in the fun little polos and stuff. And it's really fun. I think I've seen a lot of Call of Duty Pacific stuff recently that's all seemed very high budget, like extremely high budget. But all just really fun. I know I sent another one to you guys a couple of weeks ago, maybe, which had not even an influencer, but I think she's like an actual famous actress was in it and shared a like, oh, I'm just on holiday sort of video, which then turned around from like a bit of a thirst trap to Call of Duty like in-game footage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. From
Sydney.
White Lotus.
Oh, Sydney Sweeney.
That one.
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney, yeah.
It was very clever. I was really impressed, and this was really cool as well. And just really fun and, like, out-of-the-box kind of things, you know?
I think it's a very tongue-in-cheek, banterous approach to the thing, and I feel like a new map for something like Warzone is quite a big deal, so I get why they would do a big push on like advertising it, but it's quite nice to see them do a different angle to it other than just like shooty explosions. I mean, shooty explosions are included in the things in some ways, but also like I think a travel agency is a fun way of coming at it.
Yeah.
Also, any campaign that includes Rylan is like a winner to me.
Exactly.
I mean, there's nothing he can't do, let's get real.
No. He's a
It's
star.
true. I mean, whoever thought Call of Duty and Rylan Clark? Genius.
I was going to say, because I find this quite a rogue list, because it's like Mason Mount is a footballer, so that makes sense. And then Elsewich is a gamer, and Chunks is sort of pranks and comedy. So those three make like very obvious sense. And then Rylan Clark I love because he's just that versatile that he fits in with that group for a Call of Duty ad.
Yeah, and I can 100% see him as a 80s travel agent. Like,
Yes.
I can picture it crystal clear in my mind, like the outfit, everything.
Well, because he did do when they brought Supermarket Sweep back, they did it with him, didn't they?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was temporarily worried that I just imagined.
There's another one of your special dreams, right?
I would watch that. Just love that show.
But great. What a great little team that they pulled together. The next one is for this is a little bit more of a niche. So we've gone from the big Call of Duty new map, but this is for the electrical life of, I think, is it Lewis or Louis
I think
Wayne?
it's Louis, but I might be wrong.
Let's go with Louis. But it's basically the film where Benedict Cumberbatch paints cats, and which fantastic pitch. I'm sold already. But for the film, obviously, it's all about him creating art, and it's a Studio Canal release. So they actually teamed up with the artistic consultant, I believe, for the film, Thomasina Smith, and she hosted a special drawing class. So she was the consulting artist, and I believe some influencers got to join in, but it was part of a collaboration with Cass Art, which is a chain of art stores. I don't know if there exist outside of London, but there is quite a few in London, and I do have a Cass Art card because I'm so artistic, but I mainly use them to buy picture frames. And Lady Dinah's Cats and Close Up Cinema, so it was a few different things all came together to make this kind of cute little special event. I feel like this is something that you might dream up in your PR world, Erin. This feels like a bit of a PR publicity activity.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really nice like activity, because I think sometimes it's really hard to think of something that hasn't been done 1,000 times. And, you know, drawing has been done before, but it's such a natural fit in. It's such a large part. Obviously, I haven't seen the film yet, but seemingly such a large part of like its aesthetic and everything. It's just nice that they've been able to bring it in such a way, especially as well because people obviously love their cats a lot. So I'm sure any excuse to create them, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it, where like you can do an activity, like there are a lot of sort of like stock activities to do with like press and influencers, but sometimes you do just get a film where even though it's been done, like it just really fits this one perfectly. Like,
Yeah.
he paints cats, so they all went and painted cats. Like it's dead on. Like you couldn't have asked for anything better, really.
Fair play.
Yeah.
I think it's also the type of activity where, like, for the average person, they know if they were there, they would probably enjoy it, but it's not something they would either necessarily invest the time or money into doing off their own accord. But when they're there, they're like, oh, I'm actually having a really nice time. And sometimes those activities are the nicest, when you get, you know, like nice uptake and that kind of thing. And then obviously I'm assuming they'll get something physical to show for it at the end, which is always nice as well. And therapeutic, I would imagine.
Yes, unless you find art very stressful, which I do.
Yeah, likewise, because I'm not good at it.
Yeah,
so I'm
exactly.
like, I'm not instantly good at this.
It's not enjoyable because I don't like what comes out.
But there is a brief period where I'm like, hey, this is really nice.
Yeah. Soothing.
If you're not as pathetically competitive as I am, it's probably a nicer day out.
Well, the last one that we've got is for Sony and Venom Let There Be Carnage. So now that is available to rent at home, Sony marched the premiere by partnering with Amazon's Alexa, and basically they had a series of phrases which triggered responses from the device. So they shared these on social. So a couple of them were in this little asset that they shared. It said, Alexa, ask Venom to say something funny, to give me advice, to sing happy birthday, to tell me a bedtime story, which is quite funny. And there's also a couple of questions that you can ask Alexa, such as who is Venom and say hello to Venom. I do not have an Alexa. I should have tried this whilst I was at my mum's house. But obviously you're going to get some fun answers from Venom back. You don't see these very often. I think the last time I saw one of these was maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they work really well normally with like kids' films because I know in the past with like Ugly Dolls, and I think I've seen a Disney film maybe that had one, you could get it to tell your kids a bedtime story or like jokes and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny that they've decided to do it with Venom. Fits the sense of humour, I think.
Yeah. I think it works. It's another one that works really well, I think, because the film has a lot of scenes of Tom Hardy with a disembodied voice talking to him. So I feel like that's very much the Alexa vibe, isn't it? Like you're just talking to yourself.
That was going to be my question. So is the voice Alexa's voice still, or is it as if Venom isn't that very, like, I'm not going to attempt to do it because it would just be embarrassing for all involved if I try and do my Venom impression. But is it, do we know which, I almost want to find, I really want to find a clip now. Because that would be cool if it was like actually Venom.
So I think it has two options.
Oh, is that?
Yeah. So on the asset, it's laid out. It is most of the questions are under Alexa Ask Venom, and then there are 3 which are just for Alexa. So you could say like Alexa, who is Venom, and it will answer as Alexa. But if you say Alexa Ask Venom, Alexa Ask Venom to give me advice, I would assume at that point it would come back as Venom's voice.
Yeah, that's fun. And also I like the juxtaposition between Venom's voice and obviously like Alexa's very chipper, helpful tone.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to see a natural exchange between those two.
Yeah. Like one of those terrifying videos that you've seen online of like an Alexa talking to a Google across the room, like of their own accord.
Oh, I've never seen those.
Oh,
I'm going to have to dig it out after this.
Just throw Venom into the mix.
That's nice. Put Alexa in the prequel.
Well, that is all of this week's social activations.
And I think with that, that's the end of this week's podcast as well. But thank you very much, Briony and Erin. Thanks for everyone at home who's actually listened to this as well. What a way to kick off 2022. But we will definitely see you next time, hopefully, for more from the Substance Global podcast. Hit subscribe so you can keep us popping up in your inbox whenever we upload. And then also let us know what you think. We are at Substance Global everywhere. We'd love to hear some feedback. And make sure to follow us there as well. You can actually listen while you work too now, as we've got all our episodes on YouTube, which is youtube.com/Substance Global. But yeah, thanks again. Thank you both for joining me today, and thanks everyone for listening at home.
Bye.
Bye.